Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
To the final hour 3 of Squawk on a Monday morning right here on CNBC. I'm Bernie with the team. The curtains go up for the ASEAN summit as U.S. President Trump wraps up the final leg of his Asian tour. Marty is in Manila, ready to rock. Hey, Mart.
Good morning, Bernie, and good morning, everybody. Yes, right. The final leg, the anchor leg of President Trump's epic. But the president trying to keep Washington in the game in Asia, offering, among other things, to mediate in the South China Sea conflict.
And the king of shopping, Alibaba's Singles Day, proving to be an even bigger hit this year. Eunice was closely watching the numbers fly off the shelves along with the products. Eunice.
That's right, Bernie. Chilean salmon, Australian vitamins, Japanese diapers, and Chinese liquor. Everything was being bought by Chinese consumers on Singles Day, racking up tens of billions of dollars in sales.
Not quite sure what you do with salmon, diapers, and liquor at the same time. But anyway, game on, Razer. The gaming peripherals company is listing right here in Hong Kong in a $500 million IPO. That debut lands at $9.30 for another gong show. ASEAN opening ceremony for the big summit is getting underway. We've seen the big VIPs arriving by big black caboose, a limousine. Martin joins us from the Philippine capital with much, much more. Martin, it takes a while for all those big names to arrive and be greeted and walk down the carpet as they sashay their way in.
Indeed, Bernie. Good morning, and good morning, folks. It's not quite, of course, the Academy Awards, but pretty darn close. If you take a look at the number of motorcades and the procession, all this glitz and glamour of the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Summit. Remember, it's a big year. It is the 50th anniversary of ASEAN. And I want to draw your attention to, if you're looking at live pictures of all this happening, this is actually slightly away from where we are now. This is at what's known as the Philippine Cultural Center. And if it looks interesting, or maybe even a little bit odd, when the camera pulls out and gives you sort of a longer shot, longer view, it's because it's been around for quite a while. It's actually a legacy, if not a relic, of the Marcos years. Not quite brutalist architecture, but what they call the floating volume. It's meant to mimic the indigenous hut in the Philippines called the nipa hut, which sort of sits off the ground on stilts. So once the camera pulls out and gives you a view of that, you can see what I'm talking about. It's a pretty space-age structure for its day, for that matter, even now, for the time that we're in right now. So what we're watching is the leaders, the ASEAN 10, arriving. Just minutes ago, we had the Thai Prime Minister, Prayut, arriving, being greeted by President Rodrigo Duterte and his common-law wife as well. Remember, Thailand is set to hold elections itself finally sometime next year. We're hearing possibly in November. And the leaders are continuing to arrive, car by car, limousine by limousine. A lot of glitz and glamour here in Manila at the Cultural Center, just a little ways away from where we are here, Bernie. And we have to note that it's not just the ASEAN 10, leaders from the ASEAN 10, it's also the dialogue partners. You've got New Zealand, you've got Australia, Russia, China represented here as well. So this is a huge gathering, a very important conclave, partly to, of course, celebrate the 50th anniversary of ASEAN, but it happens to coincide, more importantly, I think, and we've been talking about this, with President Trump's anchor leg, the anchor leg of his epic-length tour through Asia, Bernie.
And Marty, what obviously there's a lot to talk about at this summit. It'll take a different turn than what President Trump has been doing in the first 10 days of his 12-day tour. Kind of lead us through maybe what what's expected to be on the agenda, what will actually make it to the light of day in terms of what they'll be discussing. I mean, just getting them to sit down and actually talking in any kind of a discourse or a conversation is a feat in itself, considering the number of players, right?
You know what, Bernie? A former U.S. ambassador to Myanmar put it pretty well, I think. Multilateralism in Asia is mostly about just showing up, right? So that's the good news. President Trump is here, and the length of the visit, 12 days end to end, including that first stop at Hickam in Honolulu in Hawaii, I think speaks volumes about America's commitment still to this part of the world. Having said that, though, Bernie, there was some doubt before he took off for this tour that he would extend it by a day and stay for what's known as the East Asia Summit. Last minute, because of a lot of criticism and on the advice of his advisors, the president decided, okay, fine, I'll extend it one more day and stay for that East Asia Summit, which incidentally is also here in the Philippines, but not in Manila. It's about 80 kilometers away in Angeles City here. And the importance of this is the East Asia Summit. I mean, APEC, what happened in Hanoi, or rather in Da Nang a couple of days ago, that's more about economic policy. But the East Asia Summit is more about strategic issues and strategic policy, not least of which, of course, is North Korea, plus the South China Sea. So the fact that President Trump showed up and has decided to show up at this East Asia Summit, I think calms a lot of people in this part of the world, because if he hadn't, and again, multilateralism in Asia, 90% of it is simply showing up, I think that would have left in doubt America's commitment to this part of the world, Bernie.
Okay, Marty, what is what are the sirens going off for? Is that actually the VIP cordon? Is that part of the entourage there, or is that an actual 3-alarm emergency? I'm finding it's a little bit hard to tell the difference actually when the lights are flashing.
No emergency out here, no fires, etc. These the sirens you're hearing, they're basically the outriders who precede the limousine convoy of limousines carrying all these leaders. And it's sort of like this. It's sort of the maybe a signature sound of the summit. A heck of a lot of sirens blaring in Manila, as it was indeed, I'm sure you remember, a couple of days ago in Da Nang.
Yeah, absolutely. And they continue to arrive there, and we'll go back as soon as the summit is ready to take on its next phase. And a lot of you are out there and are asking, who is that lady right next to Rodrigo Duterte? Put a name to a face. That is Hanilet Avancenia, who is basically referred to many times as Rodrigo's or Duterte's companion, but sort of first lady, maybe not in the most formal sense, but in the sort of basically sort of progressive sense. We'll let them arrive, Marty, but one by one. I guess that's not the carpooling way to do it, but we'll get back to you as soon as things are ready to go. Najib Tun Razak of Malaysia, Prime Minister, now arriving and making his way with his wife up the red carpet to say hi to the Philippine leader, and Hanilet. Marty. All right, elsewhere, we'll take a time out and talk about what's been going on this weekend in China and elsewhere. Jack Ma delivering on his promise that this Singles Day would be bigger than ever. Eunice, I don't think that was ever in doubt, was it? And what a party it was in Shanghai over the weekend. I think I saw Nicole Kidman and Maria Sharapova among the A-listers there. Yeah, I mean, not me personally, but I mean, I saw the clips.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't get invited, obviously.
Right, that's right. Pharrell Williams is there, and I was there. No, I'm kidding. But I was just reporting on all the important people. But anyway, yeah, so what you were saying about the size, obviously, last year, the Singles Day was 2.5 times the size of Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined. And this year, Singles Day just smashed all records. We heard from Alibaba. They said that they racked up $25 billion in sales. JD racked up $19 billion. These are really huge numbers. And so just to give you a little history about Singles Day, it started as an anti-Valentine's Day, a day to celebrate singletons, but then Alibaba turned it into this massive shopping extravaganza. And so people really watch it to see what Chinese consumers are doing. So this year, what are they doing? Well, with Alibaba, they saw 60,000 international brands taking part. They said that Chinese people are buying goods from overseas like never before. In fact, the top selling nations were Japan, US, Australia, Germany, and South Korea. And as for JD, they were selling a lot of specialty items. So with fresh foods, that meant hairy crabs, also tiger prawns, 20,000 tons of fresh food, they said. They also have been selling luxury goods, a lot of nice accessories and fashion items and apparel. And so this day really is not only about big sales, but it's also about companies trying to promote new ideas. And especially in Alibaba's case, it's about what they are calling new retail, and that is leveraging their technology into physical stores. This is what Jack Ma had to say about it.
I think online and offline retailing should be 50-50, but I think online retailing will definitely surpass 50%. The online and offline retailers should work together for common development and help the offline retailers to become new retailers. That's what we want to do from the very beginning. To me, 60%, 70%, and even 80% of total retail in China should be new retail in the future. I don't believe a business of traditional retail will still work in the future if they operate without technologies and data, make little innovation, or carry out no supply-side reform to get close to consumers. Online sales face the same situation, too.
And Bernie, both companies have these massive logistics networks in order to deliver everything to everybody so quickly. And one quick, cute little story for you. Alibaba said that the first person who received the delivery got it within 18 minutes. That guy was in Shanghai, and he had some snacks and biscuits delivered to him. And according to the state media, when the delivery person opened the door, he was still ordering more stuff online.
Oh man, that is a Jack Ma kind of customer. You know, somebody who just doesn't stop, keeps coming back for more and more and more. But you know, JD.com started this whole thing on November 1st, didn't they? Because I mean, the bigger it gets, the slower delivery gets. I mean, that 18 minutes was great for the guy and his snacks, but that's more the exception than the rule. Because when you're selling 25 billion, I mean, you're not going to deliver everything within half an hour. It just gets longer and longer, and people are getting kind of tired of the wait. People just want things now. Instant gratification, right?
So impatient. Yeah, but JD said that it's over 11 days. And the way Alibaba had it structured as well, they allowed pre-sales. So even in October, you were able to put in a deposit and make sure that you then would get that sales item on Singles' Day. So they have restructured it to make the whole process a little bit easier. But still, it hasn't stopped people from placing all of those orders to buy all sorts of things.
Well, this must be a summit that's fairly liberal in its guest list, because the last time I checked, I don't think that Australia or Russia were part of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. But hey, what the hey, you know, they're part of APEC, and you know, this comes at the tail end or right after the APEC thing, so why not? There you have it. There is the scene. By the way, that's the building that Marty was talking about a little bit earlier, how it was kind of a nod to a traditional type of dwelling in the Philippines, which is basically a village hut on a stilt. So that's what the architectural design is there. And that is a scene on the lawn right outside where the ASEAN summit is taking place. So we'll be here and there and all over there, as Marty, of course, is bringing us the proceedings there at the meet in Manila.